It started with a video. Strange, awkward, and totally unexpected. Meghan Markle, dressed in a sleek black gown, was dancing in a hospital room. Not just dancing, twerking, grinning, moving to lyrics about being a baby mama demanding child support, while Prince Harry stood nearby like he accidentally walked onto a reality show set. It hit social media like a slap in the face. Royal watchers were stunned. Was this a parody? A deleted scene from a Meghan and Harry Netflix blooper reel? People weren't laughing. They were confused. And more importantly, they were curious. Then, the internet did what it does best. Rewind, pause, zoom, speculate. And just like that, an old rumor reignited like dry brush under a match. The moon bump theory. For years, Meghan's pregnancies have sparked conspiracy-level debates. Claims that she used a fake bump or surrogate were always laughed off as online nonsense. But this video changed something. Suddenly, the bump wasn't just a bump, it became Exhibit A. Because this time, it wasn't a blurry photo or a weird angle. It was Meghan, front and center, performing. And people couldn't look away.
You are witnessing a broken heart that is allowed to bleed openly. That is what we are witnessing.
That's not what I'm witnessing.
That is what you are witnessing.
I'm witnessing an entitled, arrogant,
trauma.
bitter, twisted little man who's had his claws dug into by a manipulative LA lady, and the pair of them have got on a mission, a wrecking ball mission, to enrich themselves by abusing the very institution which bestowed the titles to them, which they used to make money.
Here's where things got real. This wasn't just internet gossip anymore. The royal rulebook has one very specific line buried in the fine print. To be in line for the throne, a royal baby must be born of the body. No wiggle room, no exceptions. So if Meghan did use a surrogate and never disclosed it, that wouldn't just be a PR scandal. It could mean Archie and Lilibet aren't even technically eligible for royal titles. That's not just awkward, that's a constitutional crisis wearing pearls. And suddenly, all those old clips came back with a vengeance. Meghan bending down, in heels while heavily pregnant, her bump folding like a lawn chair when she sat. Mommy blogs had field days. Medical professionals chimed in. That's not how a pregnant body moves, said one nurse. That's not a labor ward, said another. The best one? A midwife posted, that Ivy setup is faker than Meghan's British accent. TikTok detectives broke it down frame by frame. That bump in the new video? Too round, too still, too smooth. One woman joked, that's not a baby, that's a beach ball with a PR team. And the squatting, twerking, women who've gone through labor said, absolutely not. The moves Meghan pulled in that video would land most moms in traction. But hey, maybe she's the first royal with titanium hips.
She's dancing in front of the camera. Oh God, it looks like a lap dancing club with pregnant women. He's also dancing in front of the camera. She's got a black dress on. She's literally holding her bump and twerking, and she's put this on social media. The woman is that's getting worse now. She looks like she's performing.
And here's where the irony punches you in the face. This is the same Meghan Markle who told Oprah she just wanted privacy, who packed up the royal tiara, moved to California, and swore off the spotlight, only to pop up years later, dancing. Like a backup extra in a TikTok maternity skit. Even her most loyal defenders were left blinking. Was this performance supposed to be empowering, intimate, or just embarrassing? Critics didn't miss a beat. They called it the Baby Bump Broadway show. And honestly, they weren't wrong. For a couple that allegedly fled the UK to escape cameras, Meghan sure knows how to find the lens when she wants to. One YouTuber joked she wanted privacy the same way influencers want quiet luxury, as long as someone's filming it.
There's going to be a little bit of sick in my mouth as I try and describe this, because fresh from repeatedly telling us that they were escaping the United Kingdom because they wanted privacy, they hated the press, they hated everything, and all she does now with her jams that are crap is post pictures of her children left, right and centre, which has me always thinking, well, hold on a second.
The media didn't just react, they detonated. Piers Morgan nearly melted down live on air, tweeting, "We're 2 months away from the sex tape." It was crude, sure, but it summed up the disbelief. Meghan Markle, former Duchess of Sussex, and self-declared privacy advocate, had dropped a video that looked more like an MTV pregnancy parody than anything royal. Jeremy Kyle, another UK media heavyweight, looked like he aged 5 years watching it. It's like a lap dancing club for pregnant women, he choked, and she posted this herself. He wasn't exaggerating. Meghan was twerking, holding her bump, and vibing to lyrics about being a baby mama. It was a maternity-themed club night with better lighting, and for many, it wasn't just the visuals. It was the intention behind them. What was this? Supposed to be a statement? A joke? A distraction? Traditional media, which had long tiptoed around Meghan criticism, suddenly found their voices. Theories that once only existed in shadowy Reddit threads became full-on primetime debates. Anchors were awkwardly asking, is it possible she didn't carry the child herself? Royal reporters who'd once been warned not to touch bump Gate were now openly replaying old footage and asking viewers to judge for themselves. The scandal wasn't spreading, it was evolving, because this wasn't just about optics anymore. This had started to look like a pattern. Meghan claims to crave privacy, yet creates viral content from what should be intimate moments. 1 minute, she's comparing royal life to slavery in interviews. The next, she's channeling Beyoncé in a hospital room. The public was left dizzy, trying to follow a narrative that changed more often than her PR team's email password. And it wasn't just the UK losing its mind. The clip made its way across oceans. In Australia, Alexandra Marshall, a prominent monarchist, gave a statement that echoed across social media. "This isn't a scandal, it's a warning," she said. Her concern wasn't just about Meghan's image. It was that this kind of behavior undermines the very institution of monarchy. And in countries already debating dropping the royals, this footage was golden ammunition. Even monarchists in Canada and New Zealand looked uncomfortable, because whether you support Meghan or not, you couldn't deny the damage. The video wasn't just a bad look. It was a reputation nuke, and yet the palace said nothing, not a single word, not even a bland press release about private family matters. King Charles reportedly sighed in dismay. Prince William? Furious. Insiders claimed he privately called the stunt a disgrace to everything Mum stood for. And whether that's true or just another tabloid whisper, it landed like a sledgehammer. The silence was louder than any statement. And when the palace says nothing, people start digging. Behind the scenes, palace staff began leaking to reporters. "We've protected them long enough," said one alleged insider. Another called it a national trust issue, emphasizing that the monarchy's image depends on credibility, and Meghan was turning it into a meme. That's when the old footage started resurfacing. The clip where Meghan sits down and her bump folds like origami, trending. The one where her hand pushes against her belly and the shape shifts like she's adjusting a pillow, viral again. Side by side with the new hospital video, it was a masterclass in visual contradiction. The inconsistencies weren't subtle, they were screaming. Even Norman Fenton, a respected mathematician, entered the chat. He said the bumps behavior defied the basic physics of late pregnancy. No wild conspiracy theory, just math. The mass distribution and movement don't line up with how human pregnancy works, he said. Translation: it jiggles when it shouldn't and sits where it can't. It was like the universe itself was saying, "Girl, this isn't adding up." But just when it felt like the backlash couldn't get any bigger, it did. The rumor mill hit overdrive. Unconfirmed but viral reports claimed Prince Harry was considering legally changing his surname to Spencer. Yes, Spencer. His mother's maiden name, not Windsor, not Mountbatten, Spencer. Royal watchers clutched their pearls, and the internet nearly imploded. If true, that wouldn't just be a dramatic rebrand, it would be a symbolic severing. Like he was quietly packing up and walking away from the crown piece by piece. And the timing, too perfect to ignore. Right as the bump video explodes across the internet, Harry allegedly wants to ditch the family name. Come on, people started asking if this was a PR move or a legal escape plan. Meanwhile, public outrage was no longer just Twitter noise, it was turning into organized pressure. Online petitions began gaining tens of thousands of signatures. Fast. Demands included removing Archie and Lilibet from the royal website until clarification is provided, temporarily suspending their titles pending independent verification of birth records, a full-blown inquiry into the legitimacy of Meghan's pregnancies. Legal analysts stepped in, not bloggers, actual lawyers. Some pointed directly at the royal succession rules. Born of the body isn't poetic language. It's a legal requirement. If that wasn't met, and it was intentionally hidden, that could open the door to a constitutional breach hidden under the guise of celebrity chaos. And yet, through all this, Meghan remained silent. No denial, no clarification, no post, not even an Instagram story with a vague quote about rising above hate. Just total blackout. And in that silence, doubt became something more dangerous: distrust. Because when you stay silent, people start to fill in the blanks. They rewind, overanalyze, and connect dots that may not even exist. But here's the kicker: a growing number of those dots actually do. From folding bumps to twerking hospital gowns to vanishing medical records, this wasn't just one weird video. This was a pattern. Comment sections turned from jokes to unease. This isn't just weird, it's manipulative, one viewer wrote. We defended her for years. Now I don't know what to believe. Even Meghan's longtime supporters were stuck. If they spoke up to defend her, they risked looking blind. If they stayed silent, they were just confirming everyone else's suspicions. Meanwhile, the media, who once avoided this topic like it was radioactive, started circling in. Hard biographers began updating books in real time. Whistleblowers allegedly reached out to press contacts. Journalists who once kept distance were now openly chasing leads. What was once taboo had become front-page material, and the palace? Still quiet, still frozen in the PR headlights. It was no longer just about Meghan. This was now about institutional integrity. Because if this story, this performance, wasn't addressed soon, it would define everything that came after. Here's where it gets truly surreal. This isn't about whether someone danced in a hospital. It's about the erosion of public trust. It's about whether a child's title was earned or staged. And it's about whether the people who swore to uphold tradition just quietly rewrote the rules behind closed doors. People aren't just asking if Meghan faked a bump. They're asking what else might have been fabricated. And why, if it's all nonsense, no one will simply say so, because when the bump looks fake, when the room looks staged, when the silence feels rehearsed, that's when people stop laughing and start demanding answers. This scandal, it's no longer fringe. It's at the center of a crumbling royal narrative, and we're only just getting started. We'll break down what the palace could do next, and why they probably won't in another video. So don't blink. You might miss the moment the fairy tale finally unravels. Before you go, please note, this video discusses ongoing legal proceedings based on alleged and unverified information. All claims and allegations mentioned have not been confirmed by official sources and are part of a developing case. The views shared are for commentary and discussion purposes only. Always check for updates from reliable sources. Thanks for watching.